It's a great time to plant perennials, but how do you decide which ones to put in your garden? In this video, I'll show you which perennials are solid starter plants so you can get growing. But before you go to the garden center and start buying a random collection of plants, there's some things to consider. So I live in zone 4, meaning I have very cold winters and a short growing season. So I have to find plants like herbaceous perennials, meaning that they die back in the winter and come back the next spring, that are going to be hardy for my area. So for instance, with these peonies, they're rated for zones 3 through 7. If you live in warmer zones like 8 or 9, you may have some trouble growing them because they need a period of winter cold dormancy in order to produce these big, beautiful flowers. But I appreciate having these very much in my garden because even when they're not in flower, they really make a nice shrub just with the form and the foliage. So 3 more perennials that I find essential for my garden these days include lamb's ears. This is Stachys byzantina. I also have a variety called Helen von Stein. Nepeta, which is catmint, and also sedums. I have both upright and creeping sedums. So I consider these 3 perennials essentials for my garden, but they do have some requirements beyond just the climate zone. So you should be thinking about with all of your plants, what are the light requirements and the soil requirements for your plants. All 3 of these are fairly low maintenance, but they do require full sun and well-drained soil. So when you're out shopping for your plants at the garden center, look at the tag attached to them, or if you're buying them online or at a nursery, you should be able to see what zone they grow best in and what the light and the soil requirements are for them as well. And if you'd like to learn more about perennials and other kinds of plants and gardening techniques, please visit my website and newsletter, The Gardener's Companion. I have a link in the description. Now you may be thinking about conventional varieties of perennials when you go to the garden center, but I hope you will also consider native plants in your garden design. So I have here penstemon, and I also have echinacea. These are not blooming yet. They aren't quite at that time. This particular penstemon is dark towers, and it gets taller with these tall spikes of tubular flowers that bees and even hummingbirds love. And these are echinacea, which I have many around my garden as well as in my prairie garden. And these are native prairie plants that have also been hybridized, so you can find many variations of them at the garden centers. So one thing I love about all of these perennials that I'm talking about today, it's just a small sampling of the wide variety of plants that you could add to your garden. But if you want to make more of them, you can divide them, you can save seeds, you could make cuttings from them. Because once you buy one plant or just a few plants, you can make more over the years and expand your garden. Now, if you're looking for perennials that are going to add height and drama to your garden, think about adding some vining plants. So here I have another one of my favorites, clematis. So there are lots of different kinds of clematis that you can get that are suited for your area. Again, I live in zone 4, so I need plants that will die back but grow back the next spring. I usually plant group 3 clematis, and what that means is all of the new blooms happen on the new growth of that year. So even if all of this foliage dies down in the winter, it will come back. This is my Raguchi clematis. It's been absolutely spectacular the last couple of years, just full of blooms. Some of them are just starting to open now. All of this growth is just from 1 month, so you can see that they grow really fast. So no matter where you live, there's probably a clematis that you can grow in your garden. And I have one more recommendation for you of an essential perennial that I have recently discovered that I can't live without in my garden. But I also want to talk about one that I think you should avoid, or that you should think about really carefully. So that plant that I know other gardeners have used with success in their garden beds is mint. So there's lots of different kinds of plants in the mint family, but one thing they have in common is that they spread really easily by their roots or rhizomes. Any little bit of mint plant that is in the ground can grow a new root system and spread all around your garden. This may sound great if you want to make a ground cover really quickly in your garden, but it can also get out of control really fast. And I know that from experience. I planted some spearmint a few years ago on one of my beds on the south side of my house. I thought I could control the situation, it would be no problem. Well, before I knew it, it started to root everywhere, and I had a very hard time getting it out of there. So what I would suggest is to keep mint in pots and containers. That way you can control it, it can't spread all over the place, and you can still enjoy it. So one of the last plants, and one of my favorites that I wanted to share with you today for your new perennial garden to think about, are grasses. So ornamental grasses have become a staple in my garden. I have several different kinds. Some are short and make great edgers, and some are taller, like these, calamagrostis. This one is Carl Forster, which will get a lot taller, and then it has flower seed heads that make it at least about 5-6 feet tall by the end of the season. But I love these plants because they become a real architectural statement in your garden. You can use them as hedges, or like these, where I'm putting them in a group and creating a drift of plants with them. So as long as you check your growing zone and the light and the soil requirements, the sky is the limit. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.